Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing a timepiece featuring Grand Seiko's most involved standard dial. This is the Grand Seiko Quartz SBGV205. Now I know to you guys, you're real connoisseurs, you already know what you're looking at. I don't have to apologize for this watch not being Swiss, and I don't have to apologize for this watch not being mechanical. One of the most exquisitely hand-finished and hand-assembled watches you will ever encounter. The timepiece is an easy 40 millimeters to wear in stainless steel on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. It's pretty slim too, only 10.7 millimeters thick. This one easily slides underneath any dress cuff. A couple of ways to measure this watch across the wrist from lug to lug, that is the case only, 46.3 millimeters. If you include the solid end links, it's a more substantial 50 millimeters across the wrist, but I can still recommend this watch as you see it for wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. The spacing between the lugs is a little bit vintagey at 19 millimeters, and you can see that if you do want to swap out the bracelet for a strap, there are strap tool apertures in the lugs, so you'll have plenty of fun mixing and matching. That said, the factory bracelet is a very nice piece, and I would encourage you to simply stick with it and size it to suit. As you can see, it's a combination of staggered link size, staggered link alignment, as well as a combination of polish and satin. There's a little bit of a rolled bevel on the flank, giving way to polished outer faces, and you can see each removable link is fixed with a screw. There's a half link on each side of the clasp, and the clasp itself is a nice low-profile, twin-trigger, milled swing arm deployment. Very secure and also, again, less likely to catch on things than bigger dive clasps can be. If you don't need to dive, you don't need a dive clasp. That said, the watch is 100 meters water-resistant and ready to swim if you are. The famed 44GS case since the late 1960s, one of those signature design elements of Grand Seiko. Grand Seiko has a couple of different case designs, but the 44GS is the one that appeals to me the most. What they call a polyhedron shape. It's made exquisite by the black polish or Zaratsu polish, executed on Zaratsu machines, originally of Swiss-German origin. The foremost practitioner of this particular type of mirror finish is now Grand Seiko, so you're going to find the foremost practitioners of this once European discipline in the Japanese islands. And exquisite it is, as you can see, finished on every polished facet of this complex case, which has only the narrowest satin finish caseband. What's extraordinary is that the spinning tin plate against which this black polish is achieved is simply a eye-hand coordination affair. The spinning tin plate is touched by the metal, and the metal is guided by the eye, the hand, and the experience of the artisan. There is no mechanization, there are no tooling jigs used to create this millimetrically precise and corner-to-corner symmetrical execution. It's simply a handmade case on an enormous scale. This is black polish of the type you normally see on Swiss watch movement components, not something the size of a case. Now on the dial side, you can see more of Grand Seiko's craft art, as the process involved in making this champagne dial is 12 discrete steps, meaning this is the most involved dial. Not the snowflake, not the Awatayama, not the peacock. This is the most involved standard Grand Seiko dial, and all of the dial furniture is exquisitely hand-finished in its own right, milled against diamond-tipped tools by micro-mechanical artisans who only do this work. You can see the faceting, the satin, and the polish of the hands at center as well as the indices. Heck, even the aperture frame for the date is hand-finished. This is what you get with a Grand Seiko watch, quartz, mechanical, or spring drive. And of course there is a steel and blued counterweighted lancet style seconds hand. Also note that it aligns perfectly with the index every single time, because inside the case is Grand Seiko's manufactured 9F82 movement. You might ask, what's the difference between the 9F82 and the 9F62? The 82, as featured in this 40 millimeter case, I should say, is the larger of the two Grand Seiko quartz movements. They make two different sized movements for different sized cases. How impressive is that? Now the movement has a 3-year power reserve via the battery. It is thermocompensated and it features a trimmer, so if you live in extreme environmental conditions or the quartz crystal is aging, the trimmer allows the Grand Seiko watchmaker to adjust for the variation, and that's a feature seen on precious few quartz movements, such as, for example, the Rolex Oyster Quartz, the late great Oyster Quartz. But this watch is more accurate than the Oyster Quartz. The combination of the trimmer, the hand adjustment, the hand assembly, And the thermocompensation means that this movement, the 9F82, is accurate to plus or minus 10 seconds per year. Now you also have, yes, 10 seconds per year. You also have stop seconds, so you can synchronize to a reference time, and you've got a quick set system for a date that is itself adjusted by a watchmaker who only performs adjustment on these 9F dates. It's a lever and cam system with a spring jumper, and it changes precisely right around midnight at the same time every night. It's between 12 a.m. and 12:05, and it's usually at about 12:02 that it jumps and it pops like a rifle bolt. It's very impressive. This 9-jewel movement is watchmaker manufactured, watchmaker assembled, watchmaker tuned by 2 different watchmakers, and then ultimately watchmaker serviced. It is a lifetime movement per Grand Seiko and designed to last as long as you do. Also rather impressive is the fact that the 9F, which originated in the early 1990s, remains the best in the business, and it features a number of refinements that you might not notice at first glance, such as the lash adjustment system that ensures the seconds hand always lands precisely on the index on the dial. Moreover, the hands are long, flowing, they have a full volume, they extend to the tracks that they indicate. This is achieved with a double pulse, double torque motor system, so that instead of having to use the spindly, undersized hands generally associated with quartz movements, Grand Seiko can have these beautiful, full-figured and full-featured hand-finished seconds, minute, and hour hands that extend right to the edge of their track via the double pulse torquing system. You can see this SBGV205 and live the dream on the watch box.